The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Lacson-Soto tandem has started their campaign in Tuguegarao City. At 6 a.m. today, Presidential Bet Ping Lacson met with a cyclist group called Bikers for Ping at the Rizal Park in Tuguegarao City. Then Senate President and Vice Presidential candidate Tito Soto joined Lacson for a courtesy call with Tuguegarao Mayor Jeff Soriano. As of now, Lacson, Soto, and their supporters are heading to the Barangay Catagaman Nuevo for their People's Day Assembly. PDP Laban senatorial candidate Rodante Marcoleta once again defends Congress's decision not to renew ABS-CBN's franchise. In an interview with the Chiefs, Marcoleta said they were only defending the rights of the viewing public and that no agency presented any blanket certification in favor of the network, but only for a specific area of operations. Marcoleta added that if the power to grant and revoke franchises was removed from Congress, he believes there should be an agency made just to regulate media businesses to prevent the supposed abuses of ABS-CBN.
If the Constitution is amended and that power was taken away from Congress, so be it. If that franchise prerogative is taken away from Congress, there should be also a legitimate agency that will also look into that so that it cannot be abused also, like what ABS-CBN did.
Just days before the COMELEC debates, the poll body says they're still willing to wait for the Marcos Duterte tandem to change their mind about not participating in the event. COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez says that if Duterte and Marcos suddenly arrive at the venue on the same day as the debate, the poll body will not deny them the chance to participate. Jimenez points out that a written commitment is actually not required, even though all other candidates have submitted one to confirm their understanding of the debate's rules.
We don't have a written refusal. We don't have a written refusal yet. Until we get that, we're not ready to call it quits with them. So we think that some people will take a little longer to come to the decision. We're willing to wait.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. PUV drivers and other workers staged protests in Manila this morning as oil prices soar the highest in a decade. Mon Gualvez now joins us live from Manila to give us the details. Mon, good morning. What is the latest situation there?
Charles, good morning. Protests welcome the fresh petroleum price hikes along the Espana Road and corner Blumentritt in Manila, in which among the groups that participated are Piston, Anak Pawis, and KMU. They have with them placards and even a dummy of a gasoline pump and a jeepney driver's container of change. Piston President Modesto Floranda is one of those initiating the said protest. And right now, the group is currently marching towards Mendiola, Manila. Charles.
Right, Mon, these protests, definitely just a matter of time before these protests happen given the rising oil prices. But do we know what exactly these groups are pushing for? What are some of these specific things that they want?
Yes, Piston President Modesto Floranda says they are calling for a suspension of the excise tax to counter the hike in fuel prices. And if that's not possible, they suggest getting funds from the value-added tax or road users tax to allay the pressure on motorists who can no longer bear the burden of the high pump costs. They're also calling for the resignation of Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi because of his lack of foresight, preparation, and action in the current crisis. Charles.
Thank you, Mon. We'll surely hear more from you throughout the day. Thank you for those updates. That was Mon Gualvez reporting live from Manila. The MMDA says they're ready for the transport strike scheduled tomorrow, March 15. MMDA Chairman Romando Artes said contingency measures will be in place to ensure that the commuting public will not be inconvenienced by Piston's transport strike. The agency said 20 vehicles will be providing free rides to commuters and transport them to the EDSA bus carousel. Traffic personnel will also be stationed in various parts of Metro Manila to assist motorists and commuters. And the transport group is staging week-long protests against the soaring oil prices. The Energy Department says their fiscal policies over oil price hikes are not targeted to lower taxes on fuel. Speaking to the big story, Energy Department Director Rino Abad said the policies are there to support the vulnerable sector. And Abad added that they're now seeking to investigate both the weekly price adjustments and total pump price, which he says the department currently has no authority to inspect.
We want to understand itong mga adjustment kung saan pinukuha o saan nanggagaling. And then we also want to have the power to unbundle yung mismong total pump price.
The country's largest group of labor federations filed a petition seeking a 470 peso increase in the daily minimum wage, at least in NCR. But some officials say this move will burden small businesses still recovering losses from the pandemic. Mon Gualvez has the story.
Despite being allowed with 100% capacity, this eatery in Pasay City still falls short of its pre-pandemic sales. The owner admits it's hard to budget rent, utilities, and workers' salaries with their small income. With this, the proposed minimum wage increase could be an additional burden for them.
Pag hindi makaya yung sahod na ganyan, baka bawasan tao or siyempre sa sobrang kulang sa workforce, hindi na rin kakayanin ng mga trabaho. Hindi namin kaya magdagdag ng mga tao, di ba? So, baka magsarado kami.
The Trade Union Congress of the Philippines is appealing for a 470 peso increase in the daily minimum wage in Metro Manila. If approved, this would increase the daily minimum wage to 1,007 pesos.
Alam niyo po, yung actual petition dapat 710. Kaya hahabulin pa namin yan when times are better. Ito po ay actual compromise amount, itong 470.
The TUCP estimates that the poverty threshold is now at 16,000 pesos. That's how much a family of 5 needs in order to survive. With the current minimum wage, the group says each family member only gets to spend 20 pesos a day for food. But for Presidential Advisor on Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion, there's no need yet for a wage increase. He says small business owners should be considered in the process.
Yung mas malaking korporasyon may kaya, no? Pero yung small to medium enterprises, yun mahirapan kasi sila talagang tinamaan. We have to give them time.
The National Wages and Productivity Board of the Labor Department agrees to put in consideration.
Sa amin ho, hindi ho ganun yung objective ng minimum wage kasi lalo mong tinatanggalan ng karapatan yung manggagawa para mag-engage into economic activity.
The NWPB says the petitions would take about 45 to 130 days of deliberations as they look closely into the criteria. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
The heart of volleyball is back for a new season. Watch the 2022 Premier Volleyball League Open Conference live and in high definition, starting March 16 from Sunday to Friday on One Sports Plus, on Channel 261 on Signal. Also available on satellite Channel 54 and Signal Play. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 11 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.